Chapter 42. The door to the church cracks open, creaking loudly in the endless night. Hotaru peeks her head out. A yellow beam of light catches her, and a demonic growl follows. Mere inches away is the Franticor, its large face lowering to the door of the church, its breath reeking of death, teeth covered in thick, dripping saliva. Thankfully, because of the fading Jenny, it doesn't notice her. Slowly turning away from the church, it stomps away with heavy steps, shaking the town, knocking ancient soot from the ceiling of the church to the pews. A scream emerges from the outside. An armored man makes a run for the nearest building. He's caught by the yellow spotlight, its gaze quickly turning into a blood red. He tries to run out of its sight, but from below, the dirt and ash turn into chunky mud. Multiple hands rise up, trapping him in place by his legs. He swats at the never-ending pool of emerging hands, screaming for help as they grip tightly to his swinging arm. A heavy roar pierces the sky. A blistering fire shoots from the mouth of the beast, incinerating the helpless man, silencing his crying weeps into ash. The Franticor is an unholy beast as its roars rip through the sky. Its massive size casts a shadow upon the town as it turns, hunting for its next prey. Compared to Orochi, it is twice as big, and its fire far more devastating. But it doesn't seem to be alone. What were those hands? Hotaru scrambled, staying behind the door, occasionally peeking. Is that part of its power, or was it something else? Did Grandma know of this? Was this her warning? The beast locks eyes with a decrepit inn, its walls peeling with age. It raises its paw over the building. A scream erupts from the opposite side. One of the men who swept the streets yells at the beast. If it's blood you want, then take mine. Leave my family out of this. Crying to the beast in an attempt to stop seems like nonsense, but it works. Like a sentient being able to understand human speech, it lowers its paw away from the inn. The snake at its tail hisses towards the man, and Hotaru hopelessly watches from the safety of the church. Yet she couldn't wait. Another chance may never show itself. The Franticor turns to the man, opposite from the church. Now was her only chance. She ran out of town as fast as she could, too afraid to look back to see if the echoing stomps were following her. Her arms are revealed. The final of her fading jennies has been used. She has traveled for several minutes to the north where the moon lies. The tremors are gone, and no longer was she in a vast open plain, instead a hilly forest. She catches her breath, leaning against a sturdy tree. The forest has leaves and trees coated in black with minimal light in view. The long branches at the top of the trees hide the moon, and the paths in either direction are in complete darkness. Light shuffles as the shrubs ripple through the air, with an occasional coo from an owl breaking the silence. Her bare skin grazes the tree, the bark cold like ice. The quiet comes briefly, and a voice echoes in the distance. The voice is elderly, coming from deeper in the forest. Who could be out here? It didn't make sense. It had to be an illusion, though such magic was unfamiliar to her. At least Fedir never spoke of such magic. She took her damaged sword, pressing forward into the darkness. The voice was mumbling about something, unaware of her presence. My eyes ain't what they used to be. I can't tell which mushroom is which. Last thing I want is to experience that again. Hotaru steps on a branch and it loudly snaps. Seems I'm not the only one here this time. He spins around and Hotaru hides behind a nearby tree. He is a short, frail, elderly man in tattered robes. At his side is a satchel full of plants, mushrooms, and vegetables, nearly falling out from the top. His gray hair is wild, with a few bald spots revealing faint birthmarks on his head. In his gloved hand is a large, strange brown mushroom that has a cap in the shape of a fist. He places the mushroom in his bag with haste. "Come on out now. I just finished up my gathering and I'm headed back home. Got a nice cot you can use." He looks around one more time, doing a full spin. "All right then. More for me, I guess." "Wait," Hotaru replied, jumping from behind the tree. "I knew my offer couldn't be passed up." His smile is big and confident. "Can't say you look incapable, though. From the way you're staring, I might be incorrect." She doesn't respond, afraid she has made a terrible mistake. Either he was unaware of the chaos nearby, or has completely lost it. "Now you're pondering. I know you saw the Franticor up close." She flinches. "I knew it. Everyone's first time seeing that thing results in the same reaction. Well, you can rest easy. We are too far beyond that creature's reach." "You know what that thing is?" "Walk with me. Just because that thing can't get us doesn't mean the other woodland creatures will let us talk in peace. And the last thing you want is to be sprayed by that terrible gas from those sentient mushrooms. Once you're done throwing up, it's not good riddance. It's see you next time." He steps through the darkness with Hotaru following. From the look on his face, he seems to know where he is going, and despite his own warning, he doesn't bother to lower his voice. "So tell me, kid, what was it you saw?" "I went to Tantagel and was looking to find my friends, but it attacked the town. I only got away because a guy—" Her voice trails off. The demonic eyes of the beast and haunting screams fill her mind. He notices the worry on her face and speaks. "Yep. Once caught in that thing's sight, especially once it turns red, you're dead meat. Those murky hands will hold you down as you char like a skewer of meat on a spit roast. Anyway, best avoid that thing if you value your life." "What about Tantagel? It was in town." "Probably destroyed by now. It was soon to happen, though I never expected Zoma to send his guard dog to attack a town unless for a specific reason." She hesitates on her next sentence. "The priest said Zoma heard our conversation. I was looking for the relics to stop Zoma. They paid with their lives for the information I got." "So you were the one who fell from the sky?" "You saw that?" Hotaru blurted, surprised by his correct assumption again. "Most did. It happened a few days ago. Briefly light shone in, but it was just that. Briefly. Then that makes you the one who defeated Baramos." "Yes, my friends and I set out to bring peace, but now I don't know where any of them are. I can't defeat Zoma without them." She stops, covering her mouth. "What if Zoma hears this? I can't bring any more destruction to people." He laughs, unconcerned by the swarming danger at every corner. "No point in hiding your true feelings around me. Zoma doesn't scare me. He's just an ordinary monster playing the role of God. Plus, you can't bring fear to someone who has lost everything and craves death. Other people hold out hope that the goddess will save us, but it's too late now. I mean, why else in the stories would she travel to a new world? Regardless, in the face of despair, people will cling on to any fate to save them. It's the way we've always been. It also doesn't help that people believe that being a good soul will bring you to the land away from this misery. So what do people do? Play the nice guy for their own personal agenda. Being a good guy shouldn't result in personal gain. It's a selfless act, not a selfish one." He takes a moment to catch his breath. "Forgive the ramblings of an old man. Been a while since I spoke my mind, and I've been kinda holding that thought in my mind for too long. As thanks for letting an old man speak, I have good news for you. I'm a collector of sorts, gathering artifacts from ancient times. So you came to the right place." "You're Galen, then? The man the priest was talking about?" "Well, not the Galen. That fellow was a wandering minstrel of about a century ago. My parents named me after the guy as he was somewhat an inspiration to Alfgard, a hero who fought against Zoma's forces to defend a town of fairies." He shakes his head like a shaggy dog covered in water. "Sorry about the stories. You must be sick of them already. Now then, what were the relics you seek? I might have some leads as thanks for your listening ear." She looks at the jolly man. A beaming smile spreads across his face and his weathered boots skipping along the tall grass. From the way he speaks, he isn't much different from the others, but his demeanor lacks any care for the world. What a strange old man, yet free from the shackles Zoma holds over people. From what I know, I need 4 relics: the Sword of Kings, the Hero Shield, the Staff of Rain, and the Sacred Amulet. Ah, the 4 relics of the goddess. Well, some good and bad news. The Sword of Kings and the Hero Shields are of no such thing. They have never been found, probably because the goddess using man-made weapons is honestly absurd. However, they can be made, as old research papers and blueprints were found in the ruins of Castle Tantagel. Both the sword and shield require a legendary material called orichalcum. I will have to check my storage to see if I got any, though you will have to find a damn good smith to forge it. As for the sacred amulet, my speculation would mostly result in its location being in Rubus Tower, maybe the same for the staff as well. What kind of name is Rubus Tower? You don't know? He shouted. That's the name of the goddess. The goddess has a name? Why would Fedir never tell me? Of course the goddess has a name. Most people don't call her Rubus because of their faith and how it would be considered rude. It's like calling your mom by her first name. Skipping past that, her tower lay somewhere in the ocean. It was the first praying grounds to worship her, and most speculate it was where the belief was founded. The forest opens up to a hillside, covered in thin dark grass and a bleak blue ocean behind, traveling far beyond the horizon. The peaceful moonlight grants little light reflecting on the water like a beautiful painting. The ocean breeze is soft and gentle. A slight scent of salt encapsulates the small hill. One hill at the center has a reinforced wooden cabin. Finally, we're home. I swear that path gets longer every time I go out. Once inside, I will treat you to a warm meal. The food is lovely. It has an aromatic scent of veggies, nostalgic of the recent past, reminiscent of home. Its gentle warmth, like the sunstone, soothes the body, and the warm bowl heats up her hands, even when the food is done. However, she is not alone. 6 people also sit around the fire, quietly eating. Most are stained with soot, their hollow faces lacking nutrition. They pay her no mind, their faces and scrawny arms shaking with fear. Surrounding the tame fire where the pot sits are dirty cots, laid grounded along the corners of the small, dimly lit room. Other than that, it is entirely empty. No windows, and only 2 doors at opposite ends. A small child holding an empty bowl steps to the fire, staring deeply at the sizzling pot, his eyes brimming with tears, his weak little hands shaking. "Let me help you," Hotaru calmly said, like a patient mother, standing to her feet. The kid looks at her, frightened and frozen. She carefully gestures to the boy to hand over his empty bowl, which he does. She removes the steel lid from the pot. An overwhelming smell of delicious stew swarms her like a heavy fog, her stomach begging for another bowl. However, what is left is barely a ladleful. She looks at him with a warm smile. "Here you go. Looks like there's just enough for you," she said, pouring the remainder into his bowl, a peak of his smile revealing itself as he grabs the bowl from her. "It's the least I can do." The back door of the cabin cracks open and Galen sticks his head in. "Come on, kid. I got something to show you." She heeds his call, standing up and making her way to the door, saddened eyes shifting upon her as if she was escaping a prison cell. She walks out of the door to the outside and he closes it. "I got a shed near here. Figured having a good sword arm nearby would help fend any monsters who try to get lucky." He steps forward with her following, her eyes slightly turned to the cabin. "How long have they been there?" "A few months, give or take. Well, not all of them. The place has been starting to get crowded as of late. People are losing their homes, and I'm sure that the people of Tantagel will make their way here soon enough. Shame I don't have necessary equipment to support a soup kitchen. I have to stop Zoma, but I can't do it alone. Please be safe, everyone." she prayed silently. Thankfully, the trip here ain't nowhere near as bad as the forest, he announced, pointing to a worn shed in the middle of nowhere. They see the small shed, sitting alone on the grass, undisturbed by the quiet nature. Finally, a moment of peace. An instant where she doesn't need to ponder her next move, worrying of the what-ifs. Yet this peace she desperately wants to cling on to isn't long. He soon reaches the door and takes a key from his emptied satchel. From the look of the busted door, it appears a good kick would probably be more effective, but she waits for him to finish fidgeting with the lock. After a while of fumbling, it cracks open and the rusty chain falls to the side. The shed opens and he steps in, lighting a lantern at his side. The shed is mostly empty with few boxes against the wall. He's a collector, yet barely has anything to his name. However, upon further inspection, the walls have unusual dirt patterns, like a few paintings that were recently removed. Her mind clicks and she looks to him. Is that how you've been feeding these people? It's just the way things are nowadays. Nothing holds value unless it can be sold for profit. He shuffles through a box, pulling out several odd trinkets. Some are rusted weapons, while others are ancient toys or illegible papers. Must have sold it, he muttered. Sorry, kid. Looks like I don't have that orichalcum on hand anymore. Or I guess maybe I never had it. You needn't apologize. You treated me to a warm meal. You have helped me plenty. While lost in thought of her next course of action, she peeks her head over to the wall to find something shining in the darkness. Sitting against the wall is a bright pink lyre. Despite the dust atop it, its color is bright and the strings are in pristine condition. What is that? Hotaru asked. He catches her eyes staring at the lyre as he turns around. Oh, that? He steps over, picking it up to his chest. This thing is known as the Lyre of Ire. It belonged to Galen himself. It had a special power to it long ago, but in these times it's a piece of junk. He would do something like this. He holds the instrument in the proper form. His eyes are closed and gently he strums his fingers across the strings. A beautiful melody plays and she is left in shock, her mouth agape. The notes, bold and black like off a sheet of paper, are flying off the strings, gliding out the door. He stops and the notes disappear. What's got you shocked, kid? Didn't take me for a maestro. This is just a start. I got more neat things here if you want to see. The notes you played. They flew out of the lyre. He chokes on his breath. Don't mess with me, kid. You're gonna give me a heart attack. I'm serious. Play it again. As if she was a conductor, he does as she commands, playing the sound once more. His eyes are ready, looking strongly at the strings. Just like before, the various notes appearing, flying gently out the door, like a flock of birds migrating to a different land. I don't believe it, he muttered, stopping the music. But Zoma should have wiped them out. It doesn't make sense. What does that mean? The notes were flying south, he replied. Galen used it to find the fairy village during his time. But if it works, that would mean... Means what? A fairy roams the land.